Okay. We'll hop right into it. Welcome to the OYC Podcast, a very special podcast we got going on today here. I'm your host, Tyler, as always, and we got a second-time guest, a friend of the show. Our good buddy Cell Waters is back in action on the OYC Podcast, live and direct.
Yes, the Long Island Schizo. I don't know if that's going to be my nickname. I was trying to do Drew McIntyre, who's like the Scottish psychopath who's a wrestler.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that actually worked or not, so we'll go with it.
The Long Island Schizo. I think it'll work.
Okay, cool. Maybe.
My co-host Yox is out today. He came down, he got diagnosed with Polish AIDS, and they don't have a cure for that yet, so he's in intensive care. We'll send a prayer his way and send him 5 Hail Marys. God bless. All right. So Cell, or shit, I always switch between calling you your actual name and your pseudonym. You want me to call you Andrew for this?
You can call me Andrew. You can call me Cell. Or we can do like have you ever heard Raymond J. Johnson Jr.? Like you can call me Ray. You can call me Jay.
I can't say I have heard of that. But it sounds like a good chant. It sounds like a good...
Opie and Anthony did a bit on this like years ago where they were just... but he's a horrible ad. I don't even... Forget it.
Yeah, when talking about anything related to Anthony Cumia, it's better to just be like, never mind.
Okay, so I got a question about Anthony.
Yeah.
You think Opie like Anthony Cumia had the energy, the fire, the drive to be successful, and Opie's like, all right, I see this guy who has all this talent, and I'm going to like attach myself to his star.
Yeah.
Because it's the talentless one, right?
Yeah. He's like the straight man.
I'm just kidding. I like Opie anyway, but
yeah. Since because I know the last time we had you on, we talked about Opie and Anthony a little bit, and I had just started getting into it, and now I've delved I feel like way deeper into the show and to the community because there's the famous Opie and Anthony subreddit. But yeah, the last time I talked to you, I didn't really know any of the I knew Anthony Cumia had gotten fired from Sirius. I knew about that incident, but all the other egregious accusations and stuff against him, and I feel like because I'm gonna circle back to your question here. I think Anthony Cumia wouldn't have had a career without Opie.
Yeah, that is true. But would Opie have had a really huge career without Anthony? You know what I mean? They kind of
probably not. He probably would have just been another radio jock. It's them together created this synergy energy and created a classic radio show.
I hear they don't get along, but I don't know if they're just playing for Twitter, like they're just making up that they don't get along.
From what I've kept up with recently, it's very real. They do not like each other. At all, it seems like, yeah. And even old Jimmy Norton doesn't. Him and Opie go at it on Twitter a lot.
So for some reason, I think they're working the audience. Maybe I'm just naive, but I think they're trying to make everybody think they don't get along, but they're really
I would believe that, but some of the arguments and shit that's said is too real. I feel like.
You think so?
Yeah. It seems it doesn't seem like an act, but could be wrong. Not sure.
Who knows?
It's weird how they went from a decade ago, the biggest radio show and all that, and now they're all just kind of angry on Twitter. I mean, I guess Jim Norton still has a show on Sirius, but
with Sam Roberts.
Yeah. The pube-head man. That's a low blow at Sam Roberts. I don't apologize, but it was a low blow.
He's on wrestling occasionally. Have you ever watched the pre-shows?
I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips with him in it. I don't know if you know about it. There's one of the users from the Opie and Anthony subreddit made. There's 2 guys that are making full-length documentaries on characters in the Opie and Anthony universe, and I think it's this guy called Porcelain. He did one on Jim Norton and Sam Roberts, and it's just an hour-long, edited to be a legit documentary, but they're shitting on them the whole time. If you got a chance, look up the Jim Norton, The Worm Is Turned. It's a very well put together documentary that spins Jim Norton in not the greatest light, you know.
And maybe I'll check it out. Send me the link after the show's over.
Will do. Absolutely. 100%. Oh yeah, I forgot. I had an introduction drop for you, like a little musical drop. So
Okay, great.
I'm gonna hit that real quick.
There are certain things that gross me out. Take mayonnaise, for example. The big mayonnaise jar grosses me out, and when it's in foods, it just grosses me out. But the small mayonnaise, if that's used, that doesn't gross me out. I don't understand exactly why, but the big one grosses me out, the small one doesn't.
The society we live in, we're enslaved by money, especially if you're in the middle or lower class. So I was taking the train to Penn Station when all of a sudden an announcement came on over the intercom that said, "We're going to East New York and everyone must get off." The train turned red. It was like we were taking the train to hell. In this sick society we live in, many of us want to live forever. Many of us want immortality. Well, I know the secret to immortality. You need to watch all of my videos, read all of my writings, observe all of my artistic creations. Then, and only then, will you live forever. Viewing the art of Andrew will make you live forever. Hello? Is there anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Come on down. I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain and get you on your feet again.
It's Cell Waters. Andrew Kowalski.
Like the Joker from Batman, you know?
Yeah, I just slapped that together like 30 minutes ago. I was like, I should do a ridiculously long, over-the-top music drop, and I think I did a decent job with it.
The Pink Floyd was pretty cool, and then the beginning sounded like the Joker out of Batman: The Dark Knight.
I was watching some of your new videos since you put up a new YouTube channel. Last time you were on the podcast, we promoted your YouTube channel at the time. We'll get into that in a second, how you took that down and have started a new channel, but I was watching some of your new videos, and your video East New York was was really funny. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
It was just it's a really good bit. It's a really good bit. You're like trying to get off the train. You call your mom and she's like, "No, get off the train."
Oh my God. It's New York.
Did you come up with that? Do you have any actual experiences in East New York?
I go to Brooklyn weekly, and when you go to the East New York station, obviously it doesn't look very like it. I don't want to. I mean, obviously, people. It doesn't look great.
Right.
To be honest,
It's a little bit run down.
It's a little. I read the Wikipedia, so I'm not. It says it's a ghetto.
Yeah, but Brooklyn's one of those gentrification areas, right? I've been in Brooklyn once, like a year ago, and it seemed kind of. I mean, I didn't walk all around Brooklyn, but isn't it like kind of a hipster thing now? There
are areas that are hipster, but there are areas that are scary.
Yeah.
And, I don't really know much about East New York. It was just funny, but
doing the dramatic what's that Kurt Russell movie? It sounds like Escape from New York. Like
choo choo,
You can't get off the hell train. It's also like an AC/DC song. They do like hell, and they do like. Oh my God! Hold on.
I love my...
Jesus Christ. I dropped my soundboard and hit all the buttons at once. That happens from time to time. Shit. What was I going to say? What was I even talking about?
Speaking of people that the Notorious B.I.G. is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was the talented one, the one with the talent. And like guys like Puff Daddy and Mace, they were trying to attach themselves to his intensity, his desire to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like when you're a big artist like that, there is always like hanger-ons and imitations that come along the way. Which I myself have been accused of being, but you know, I digress.
Sure. I'm just ramble sometimes, so don't you know what I mean? I don't even.
This is a podcast. Say what you need to say. I was making some type of point before I fucking dunked the soundboard on the floor. I
was just listening to Notorious B.I.G. earlier today, and okay, here's a funny story. So I had his CD in my car, and on the cover of the CD, it's like this big African American. So one of my friends comes in the car and he's like, "What are you listening to, man?" You know what I mean? And he takes out the picture. It's like the Notorious B.I.G. I'm like, because for those of you who don't know, I'm from Long Island, and that's like the suburbs. It's like the opposite of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a Staten Island.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter. Oh, so do you want to talk about Roman Reigns, the professional wrestler?
Yeah, I was watching your video. He's diagnosed with leukemia, right?
Yeah. So there was this professional wrestler who was pretty much the face of the company, on top of the world. His name is Roman Reigns, and pretty much out of nowhere, like this Monday, he announces, "I can no longer defend the title. I have leukemia." Shocking, sad. And I guess it goes to show that, life has unexpected twists and turns that you don't see coming. And, I guess live life now. Point is, but you know what I mean?
What kind of leukemia was he diagnosed with? Because I don't follow wrestling at all, but he's like one of the biggest wrestlers right now, right?
Oh, absolutely. He might even be the biggest.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously John Cena is bigger, but he's never around.
Yeah, he's too busy visiting children's hospitals and,
exactly
taking pictures. Can't always be what's his famous move? The Cena move. Now you Cena, now you don't.
Hey, you can't see me.
That's his taunt, right? What's like his actual move? Like, the people's elbow.
He does the STF. He has a few moves.
Did it used to be called the STFU? Was it?
Yeah, it was called the FU and the STFU, but then they went PG, so then now they call it the Attitude Adjustment. Now they call it.
They call it the ST. What does STF stand for?
I don't know, but that's the name of the move. They were
Stop that fighting is what it stands for, ladies and gentlemen. John Cena, the famous wrestler. So Roman Reigns, he's supposed to be competing for like the big belt, right? And he's now diagnosed with leukemia, which is
he was the champion. Yeah. He had it, I think, a decade ago, and
it just bounced back.
It went into remission, but now it came back all of a sudden. Hopefully, he's able to beat it again, and he wrestles again but we'll see,
Yeah, all the best to Roman Reigns here at the OYC Podcast.
Do you even know who he is?
I know he's the big guy. I have a buddy that's still still follows wrestling and stuff, and I think I know who you're talking about. He's like big dude with a ponytail.
Oh yeah, he's the like half Samoan, half Italian guy. He calls himself the big dog.
Yeah.
The fans boo him. They hate him. Really manufactured,
He's the heel because the bad guys are the heels, right, in WWE.
He's not really the heel. They present him as being like the Superman good guy, but everybody boos him because of that.
Well, that is unfortunate. I bet all those people will feel bad now because he has leukemia. They're booing a guy with cancer. Not so fortunate.
Obviously, everybody was like, yeah. He says, "My name is Joe Noai." He came across as a real dude, obviously, and everybody was. Nobody's booing him this week, obviously, but the character,
Yeah, because he's playing a character. His real name isn't Roman.
Yeah, his real name is Joe Noai, and everybody was like, "Oh, wow!" You know, it was shocking. You know.
Yeah, that is. Nothing else can be said other than it's unfortunate. I feel like. So we'll bump from that over to your YouTube channel here, the Cell Waters YouTube channel. It's the rebirth, the reimagining, the restart, a full new start. So, what led you to, shut down your old channel and then start up the new one?
So I went on a date with a woman, and it didn't work out, by the way. And I was applying to jobs, and I thought that didn't look professional. Right. And then I created a new one that didn't have some of my more controversial content.
Right.
There was so much content on the channel that needed to be deleted that it was just easier to delete the entire channel and start anew. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense. So there'll be a link to your new channel in the description if anybody wants to go check out Cell Waters' vids. He's funny as hell. I enjoy him very much, and it's good to see that he's back on YouTube. I was a little bit sad when you took down the old one because I did enjoy a lot of those videos very much, but I understood that there was probably a good reason for it.
And there was, but everything's backed up on external hard drives and things like that. So I still have the videos.
Yeah, I see you're re-uploading some of the old content I see on there, which is good. Good to have all that archived. Again,
have it all archived.
Go into the description, check out Cell Waters. He's a good guy, good YouTube channel, very funny man, and he gets the OYC seal of approval.
And OYC gets Cell Waters seal of approval. Sorry.
Hell yeah! It's a good thing that YouTube exists for people like you and me to kind of get our ideas out there. But I feel like lately it's kind of hard to find like good content to watch. Like I feel like maybe like a little under a decade ago when YouTube was a little bit younger, it was easy to find really funny, like actual work put into it, like content. And nowadays it feels like it's all for ad revenue or just kind of shoehorned or not. I feel like it's hard to find good original content. So how do you find good original content, or do you look for like stuff on YouTube like for comedic purposes, enjoyment?
You mean other than my channel, right?
Yeah, like stuff you would watch.
I basically get requested a lot of Simpsons clips. For some reason, they're requesting Titanic footage. I have no idea why. So I watch what they request.
Yeah, you know? But like, is there any like actual YouTubers you follow or comedians or people on like wrestling and wrestling Simpsons, Opie and Anthony, things like that get requested to me and I watch it, but there's nobody I really follow, if you know what I mean. Yeah, because I feel like it's hard to find good stuff out there nowadays. There's too much Fortnite gameplay footage. It's clogging up YouTube. We can't upload anything else because of Fortnite. Compilation videos, kill montages, Fortnite dance. There's a video of a kid doing the Fortnite dance. It's pretty interesting, you know. It's cool. It's good content. It's worth your time, your limited time on this earth, to watch a Fortnite dance comp. It's like the signal to noise ratio. There's so much noise out there, but there is some signal on YouTube of good material. Yeah, it's there's a lot of noise. The noise, it's the noise ocean. You have to get like a radar and just kind of hunt out on your boat the little blips of actual genuine entertainment. And that's why these people come to the OYC Podcast, because we're always live and direct and fierce, independent. We're not owned by the BBC. We don't have rules. The FCC doesn't care if we say fuck, you know. Sorry, go ahead. Without a doubt, man. Yeah. You know, fight the power when you got the power, right? Exactly. Let's see here. Did you want to go into any of your topics you had you wanted to talk about there?
Okay. So yesterday, my mom, shows me her computer, and it's like, oh my God, we're infected with spyware and viruses, and like I need to like put in my credit card to eliminate the viruses, and I'm like, this is a scam, you know what I mean? And,
like a
she was
very
ready to
clear-cut
put in her
scam.
credit card.
Yeah.
And I guess I wanted to talk about like people that get scammed on the internet because of being naive and gullible.
Yeah, I was trying to sell something on Craigslist the other day, and as soon as I put the ad up, I got some text that was like, your Craigslist post will be taken down in 5 minutes if you don't respond to this text, or something. Like, it was trying to act like it was Craigslist security or something. Because somebody probably has a bot to send out to like every ad that's posted, and it's you could easily fall for that, like your mom did with the credit card virus there, which is a very classic one.
That is a classic one. Here's another one. I was on Tinder and I matched with this woman and she wanted to chat on Kick. So we began chatting and she told me she was in the military. Then she said her phone screen is cracked, so she needs an iTunes gift card to buy a new phone screen. And at that point, I knew it was a scam, you know.
An iTunes gift card, like you don't need money. Not even just give me your credit card number. That's a very roundabout. I guess it would be untraceable. They're laundering money through iTunes gift cards. And
Exactly.
I hope I never get to that point in my life where I'm laundering money for iTunes gift cards. But, you know, everybody's got to have a job.
I'm thinking they're probably overseas, but that's just my idea.
Yeah, because it would probably be hard to, persecute them if they were in the country. It's better to do that stuff overseas. I'm trying to think of good scams. Like scams I've experienced. Oh, this is a good one. This is one in person that I didn't even know was a thing until it happened to me. And then there's actually a Wikipedia article for how, like, because it's so prevalent of a scam idea that these people do. It's called the white van speaker scam. So say you're in like a Walmart parking lot and you're going to your car. Usually it doesn't have to be a van, but most commonly it's a van. There'll be like two guys. They'll come up to you and say that they're like transporting speakers, like audio equipment, and their whole story is that I guess their boss they got sent like an extra pair of speakers or a few extra pairs of speakers that their boss doesn't know about yet. So instead of going back to their boss and just giving them the speakers, they'll sell them to you at a discounted price. And they go as far to even like show you like magazines with the speakers, like ads in them, and like pull up a website on their phone. But the speakers are actually just like, they're like non-working, filled with concrete speakers. So the whole pressure of the situation is they have to be to this place like now, and they have to drop off the speakers to their boss. But if he doesn't know about the extra speakers, they can sell you the extra speakers now for less money to get them cash then, and then you would basically be left with a pair of concrete speakers and probably out a couple $100.
Yeah, and they do similar scams like that in Manhattan. Somebody will hand you a CD, and they'll be like, "That's my demo CD," and then they start asking from you.
That's a classic one.
Or somebody will be dressed in a superhero costume, and they'll take a picture with you, and they're like, "Now I need $20," another one like that.
Yeah, I was in New York 2 weeks ago, and I think we were in Manhattan. There was some dude in a big, weird fucking baby costume. I don't know if you've ever experienced the dude in a big baby costume, but it was weird. I'm assuming he was probably doing the same thing where you take a picture with him and then he like shakes you down for money.
Tourists are probably like that, taking pictures with the baby man,
Yeah, with the baby man. The baby man in New York. Looks like you got competition, Andrew. You gotta go kill
Exactly.
him. So, another one. I just remembered another one. When I took a bus up, this is like 5 years ago, was also in New York. One of the stops was in New York. And the connector bus that I was supposed to get on, I missed because the bus I had been on was delayed. I get off knowing that I, missed my bus, probably by like 10 minutes. But there's this dude like waiting out there, and he was like, hey man, you what bus you looking for? I was like, oh, I'm looking for this bus, but it's like, I'm late for it. It's already gone. He's like, no, man, no, it's leaving late. You can go catch it now. It's at this terminal. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, this dude's in plain street clothes, and he's like, yeah, man, I work for the bus station, and it's my job to, tell people where to go and stuff. So if you could give me like a tip or something. And I was like, no. And I, out of curiosity, went to the terminal, and of course there was no bus there. I was fooled and bamboozled and swindled. Sometimes
they're pretty convincing, these scammers, so you got to be careful to not get duped by them,
Yeah, basically just don't give anybody your money unless like you can tell they're homeless. It's pretty easy to tell when someone's like actually homeless, I feel like.
Yeah.
But in New York, it's probably way different. New York is, New York's a big fucking stress. It's a stress environment. It's all stressful. Like just walking around in Manhattan is stressful.
It is. It really is. Change topics, or you want to continue on this for a little bit?
Yeah, segue us on, Andrew.
Okay, segue us on. So, are there any things that you like to pose as a fan of, but you're not really a fan? Like, for example, I bought a Deadpool T-shirt, but I never saw the movie. I bought and Japanese professional wrestling. I've never seen Japanese professional wrestling. I'm just posing as a fan.
Yeah, I definitely have a bunch of band T-shirts of bands I don't listen to from like probably when I was in like high school. Like I have Led Zeppelin T-shirts, and I've never listened to anything past their singles, which I probably should, but.
It's cool.
I do experience.
Like, I like the image,
Yeah, it looks cool. Like I have a Mountain Dew shirt. I don't really drink Mountain Dew, but
you're posing as a Mountain Dew fan.
Yeah, I'm a big old Mountain Dew poser. And all the real Mountain Dew heads call me out all the time. It's like stolen valor for Mountain Dew.
I have a Yoshi Nintendo T-shirt. I'm posing as a Yoshi fan,
Yeah, you better watch out before someone calls you out for stolen valor. Stolen Nintendo valor. Have you ever seen those videos where people call out, like people will walk around that are not in the military, but they'll walk around in like a military uniform to pose as a military person so they can get benefits and stuff in public? And then real Marines will start recording them and like ask them a bunch of basic questions that they should be able to answer and then can't, and they basically like embarrass them. It's called stolen valor videos.
How do you get to that point in your life where you're posing as a military guy? That's pretty sad.
It is pretty sad. It's very unfortunate that people really try and take advantage like that, but it's pretty easy to tell when you're faking.
Oh yeah.
I remember there was this old YouTube channel I used to watch before it got a little ridiculous, where it was this ex-Navy SEAL, and he had like access to the whole Navy SEAL database or whatever. So he would spend his time like tracking down and like calling up and basically harassing people that were posing as Navy SEAL and being like, look, you're not in the records. Those are fun vids, but also very sad. You realize how much people really just try to be Navy SEALs specifically, it's hard to be a Navy SEAL. There's only like a certain number of them anyway.
Exactly.
But shit, what do you think? What else do you pose as? What would be annoying to you?
Okay, so I hockey, for example. I'm not really a hockey fan, and I'm not really a New York Islanders fan. I'm kind of posing as a hockey fan.
Or you could be posing as Kevin Smith.
I could be posing as Kevin Smith too. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Like if I go to an Islander game and I'm with friends, I enjoy myself, and it's fun to occasionally watch on TV. But I'm not really a fan,
Yeah, I feel the same way about a lot of sports stuff. It's like I'll watch it and I can enjoy it, but I don't follow it. I'm not like, yo, dude, the Bullwinkles gotta win. I got all my money on the Bullwinkles.
And people get really like passionate and angry over their sports teams sometimes. Like some people are like, I like the Yankees, but I don't like the Boston Red Sox, and they get like violent over it. And it's like, dude, relax. It's a sports team,
Yeah, ready to like stab each other over the fucking Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. They're both stacked teams. They're both stacked. It's not an interesting rivalry to me.
No, it's not.
Let's see here. Do I got a funny sound on my soundboard? I'm gonna do a random push on my soundboard because I forget where stuff is on here.
You know, another judge might care, but you hit a cop, you're going in.
That's pretty fun. That's a fun sound.
Sure.
So, posers, right? Posers fucking suck, dude. You have to know every Black Veiled Bride song to wear a Black Veiled Bride's t-shirt, or else you're a poser.
Exactly. That just goes without saying, man.
Yeah, it's written in law. The founding fathers, they knew. They were BVB fans. Do you think it would be funny to abbreviate Black Veiled Brides as BVB? Like, I'm a big BVB head.
I think that would be pretty comical, yes.
Sorry if I'm meandering here on dumb shit. I gotta, I'm in thousands of dollars of debt. I'm thinking about all that debt. Gotta pay off that debt because they'll come and find you. I got a call from a debt collector the other day. So I was waiting for a call on like an actual medical thing, and it was like a North Carolina number, and it was like, I answered, and I'm like, hello. And the lady's like, hello? I was like, hello. She's like, hello? I was like, hello. She's like, is this Tyler Bauer? I said, yeah. She said, this is debt collection call. She fucking duped me, dude. And then I was just like, well, like, can I make like a small payment on it or something right now? She's like, we could make it so because I had like no money in my account at the time, and the lady's like, "Oh, we can take out the $700 you owe, and in like 2 weeks." And I'm like, "Nah, that's not cool." And I was like, "Can I make like a small payment?" And she's like, "Oh, we can make a payment." And I was like, "All right, let me call you back." And I just hung up. And I'm avoiding debt. I'm avoiding debt.
That's what you have to do. My
you gotta
dad,
slip and slide. Go ahead.
I guess there was a debt collector that my dad got a new phone number.
Yeah.
And I guess somebody with the previous phone number was in a lot of debt. So they would keep calling my dad's phone number saying, "Oh, we're looking for this guy Freddie because he's in so much debt." And my dad would often like pose as Freddie. He's like, "Oh yes, I'm Freddie." People.
Oh, dude, that would be so fun. Just telling them silly stories, keeping them on the phone.
Yeah.
I fucking hate debt collectors, man. But that's the problem. You gotta pay your debt. But what do you do when you can't pay the debt? What do you do, Andrew?
You get a job.
And if you have a job and still can't pay the debt, what do you do?
A better job?
Avoid that debt. You gotta avoid the debt. That would be my Mad Money show. The show Mad Money. I would just tell people to avoid the debt. Anyway, we'll move on to something else here. Debt collectors are listening to this. I'm sorry. You'll get your money at some point, maybe. What would you like to segue on to, Andrew?
Okay, hold on. I'm looking at my blog. Driving anxiety. How are you when it comes to driving? Do you have bad anxiety, or do you drive with confidence and like no issue whatsoever?
I feel like when I started driving like 2 years ago, I had a lot of anxiety starting out, but I've done some pretty long distance drives now. I drove a U-Haul down from New York a few weeks ago, which was a pretty anxious event, driving a big truck like that when I'm used to driving a car. But I'd say generally I'm pretty confident, but still have some, I'm an anxious person anyway, so still a lot of residual stuff. How about you? How do you feel about that?
As am I. I'm very anxious too, and I prefer when other people drive me around, but if you're in a relationship with somebody, that looks very unattractive.
To not be able to drive around? I guess so. If you were living in a place like New York City, I guess it wouldn't be as much of a problem because there's public transportation.
That is true.
But I don't think it would be a relationship ender. I don't think that would be like the worst thing.
No, it wouldn't be the worst thing, but it's definitely not a check in the positive column,
Yeah, you definitely want to get your gal into your Chevy Dodge Charger, rev 120 RPM all the way to the soda bar, ice cream bar, pick her up something, and then drift all the way back home. But not everybody has the confidence to do that.
Exactly. Not everybody does.
But I believe that everybody has the ability in themselves to find that confidence. Like America found Osama bin Laden. Thank you for the applause. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, so TV in the waiting rooms. Don't you hate when you're at the MV or you're getting your car repaired and you're waiting in the waiting room and you just like the local news is on and you're staring at the TV and it's just like it's just so boring. You know what I mean? And you're watching the TV and
yeah, have you ever been in like a hospital or doctor's office that has like its own channel? That's like even worse. It's like, exactly. 5 new healthy foods to here's how to prepare guacamole. Yeah, I'm surprised that I feel like TV still only exists for like those menial cooking or like reality shows. Like I don't think there's any real TV being developed anymore.
Magazines didn't entertain you. I think smartphones really helped with that because it's like, okay, I can browse Twitter, I can browse Facebook while I'm waiting for my doctor's appointment. And it's like once you're summoned for the doctor's appointment, it's like, oh my God, like a light shines. You know, it's like, thank God I'm finally summoned for the appointment. Back to WWE. Horrible segue, but we'll go back to WWE.
You just do it. Hit me with it. Give me the people's elbow.
Saudi Arabia in a week, and that's very controversial.
Say that one more time. You kind of cut out.
Going to Saudi Arabia in a week, and that's a very controversial thing, especially with all the news that's going on over there.
So the WWE is going to Saudi Arabia?
They are.
Oh. Like to do an event or just to like broadcast there?
An event and pay-per-view type event, and you know the women aren't allowed to perform on the show; they have to stay back in the United States.
Oh wow, that sucks.
I know and now with the news that's going on in Saudi Arabia, it's like should the WWE? They're in a no-win situation. Should they withdraw the event, or should they do the event? It's like no win for them either way.
Yeah, whose idea was it to do a show in Saudi Arabia? They could have just
probably make a lot of money, and it came down to a money thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. If it's profitable, hey, that's what Vince McMahon's all about. Man makes money, but Saudi Arabia maybe not his best plan. The XFL, is it coming? I don't know.
It is coming.
2 years, right? 2020.
It's 2020.
I hope that'd be cool if they got the wrestlers to start doing the promos for that again, like they did the old XFL.
A lot of the traditional football fans hated it and then alienated them. So it's like,
yeah.
Who are you attracting? You're attracting wrestling fans, and wrestling fans don't like football. So
yeah, they're trying to do like theatrical football, which I don't know what they're gonna do this time because the whole thing was that it's like extreme football, but now we live in a time where it's like. Excessive injury in football is like very serious. Like CTE is very serious.
I think they're going to do a more conservative and traditional football, which is kind of now the edgy in a way because of all how the NFL is.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how different it'll be. Like what weird little rules they'll throw in. Not a huge football fan myself though, but. You're right. I don't think there's a lot of spillover from wrestling to football in terms of fans.
Exactly. You know, I used to take walks around the neighborhood, and I was approached by military recruiters on my walks. I don't know if this is going somewhere.
Just run with it.
Okay, so like, have you ever have you ever been in like I was at a mall cafeteria, and I was sitting there eating food by myself. This is when I was much younger.
Right.
Recruiter comes here like, "Hey, big guy. Would you like to join the Marines?" You know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, no, thank you. No, I don't think I would pass the like, you know how they do like the evaluation. I probably would fail with my psych history, so it wouldn't work anyway.
Yeah, the military is pretty strict on that. But you know, it's always good to not sell your soul to the U.S. government, to be a pawn in their game.
I want to be a pawn in the game.
Don't want to be a pawn in the U.S. of A. So that's what that Bruce Springsteen song's about. Born in the USA. It's actually anti-America. Bam.
I thought it was patriotic. No, I'm just kidding. It's like when you take a lot of psychiatric medication that you're afraid of losing your artistic talent. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a lot of medicine for my mania.
And then you start losing your artistic ability.
Or do you think...
Say that
I don't know
again.
if you're on... I'm afraid that if I medicate away some of my personality, I don't know. I'm just reading my blog.
I think there's probably a discussion in that that SSRIs probably could dull some creative impulses in the brain, but it's like when do you favor art over mental wellness, and that's the difficult balance. I feel like, for sure.
Okay, bear in mind this is a joke, so it's kind of like a futuristic dystopian book. You know, they're numbing our mind with medication, and they're injecting us with serums to numb our mind so they can control us. But obviously, I'm only joking. I realize medicine is very beneficial and helpful, and I just thought it was a funny thing to say.
There's that. It's like that movie with Christian Bale. I forget the name. Equilibrium. The movie Equilibrium with that guy I just said that I can't remember. Christian Bale. It's like a society where they give everybody pills to like dull them and stuff, and then Christian Bale like breaks out of it and starts doing gun karate. Like kind of like John Wick-esque, gun karate, where he's just going in and killing everybody, kind of like the Matrix, like gun karate. Gun kata, I think is what it's called.
Gun karate is what it is for sure. I had to sneak that in there. I have to do one what it is every podcast.
Yeah, let's do a what it is segment. What are the top 5 what it is things this week?
Ask me a question and I'll tell you if it's what it is or what it ain't.
Paying taxes.
Paying taxes is what it ain't.
Going to McDonald's.
I guess this isn't a funny bit then. With your like.
I was trying to make it funny, dude. I was gonna just do menial things and do the same.
With the gun to your head. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't acting like there was a gun to my head. It was a little bit of a. We're both. I think we're both kind of. At least I feel like personally, I'm kind of self-conscious about my humor ability, and sometimes when I'm having an off day, I really hate anything I try to come up with. I'm sure you could relate to that feeling.
Definitely.
And that's because it's like as a comedian, you have to have some type of confidence in what you're doing. But if I don't know, and I feel like in more recent times I feel like I used to be able to improv better. Like if I was like, oh shit, I have nothing to say right now, well, I can just bullshit with something ridiculous. I feel like I'm losing that ability, and I don't know how to get it back.
Don't be too hard on yourself. Basically, if you're having fun, the audience is having fun. Just laugh, have a good time, and don't worry about if you're performing 100%. Just no pressure, and just have a good time. Basically,
that's solid advice. Actually, that's really good advice. That's all I can say. I'm gonna see.
I got another one. I'm on a mega regimen of psych meds, and I have to fill up my pill box every week with 1,000 pills. And you know what sucks? When you accidentally knock the pill box over and pills scatter everywhere, I have to go out of my way to collect every single pill because we have dogs, and God forbid the dogs ate one of them.
Right. And then you're always finding them under the couch and stuff.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think the dogs would even want to eat this crap. You know what I mean? It's horrible, but I'm just joking.
But I'm just kidding. I give my dog pills. He's got some good old anti-inflammatories for his old joints. I think dog. It's crazy. Here's actually a pretty good topic. It's crazy that a dog can get prescribed tramadol like it's nothing, but nowadays it's almost impossible for a human being to be prescribed tramadol because it's like there's a big opioid crisis, and God forbid anybody wants pain medication. You know what I'm saying? Like I know painkillers aren't the best thing in the world, but in my experience recently and from what I've learned, it's kind of hard to get access to that, especially when you need it. But dogs can get painkillers, no problem.
They're very addicting, you know. So it might be for the best, I think.
You would think so, but it's because this happened like 2 years ago. The whole government and the CDC started putting these guidelines in place where if you need an opioid prescription, you need to be drug tested like every 3 months, and these drug tests aren't covered by most insurances. And they basically made it very, very hard for people that actually, like, say you're like 68 and you have like a shattered knee or some type of condition that's never going to get better. And the only thing that makes your life livable is like painkillers, like a small dosage. They've cut back, like, people that were on a certain regimen of opioids or whatever for decades have now been like cut back to almost nothing because of these guidelines and stuff put in place, which, you know, would be like a good thing in the long run. But I feel like more people are getting hurt than should be because the people that are using, you know, illicit opioids or, you know, heroin and all that are doing it illegally anyway.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't realize that it's like, if you're just a normal person, say you break your leg and you're like, fuck, I'm in a lot of pain. Hospitals are going to start being like, well, no, you know, we can't give these out to you. You know, we just can't trust people. But they can give it to dogs, no problem. Like my dog got prescribed tramadol. He slipped a disc in his spine. Fucking like 3 scripts of tramadol, no problem. It's like, he's a dog. I'm a human. Why can I not get the fucking pain relief, you fuck?
Yeah, there are probably many examples of that. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's a very nuanced issue, and I try not to talk about it on the podcast, but I think I've said something on it before, and I guess now I'm talking about it at length, but it's not an issue that I would say I'm entirely educated on, and my position might be absurd to some people, but I think there's been at least, you know, a handful of suicides. I can't say the exact number, but several suicides from chronic pain patients that were cut off of their prescription because they couldn't, you know, handle their condition without it, so they decided to off themselves, which, you know, is unfortunate. And then you still got people overdosing on fentanyl and heroin in the streets, so I don't know what the solution would be, but I don't think cutting people off and treating them like criminals is the way to go.
I don't think so either.
And I'm sure, is there anything like that in like mental health? Because I know your condition's more of a mental deal.
There are plenty of medications that you need to get prior authorization for, and they're the better medications, but you know, they don't want to be covered by the pharmacy, and just you know, getting medications the pharmaceutical industry is very horrible, as you know.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything off the top of my head. My mind's kind of foggy like yours today. So
yeah, we're both kind of brain fogged, but you know, I think we're chugging along here. We're at like 52 minutes already.
All right, I got another interesting one. Have you ever had an intense dream you can't wake up from?
Yeah, I feel like I can't. Do you have the ability to wake yourself up out of dreams?
I don't. And here's my example before we get to yours. Like, I'll get these dreams about God and Satan, and I'll be sleeping, and like Satan will be like, "Hail me," like, "Hate you," and like I'm sleeping, and you know, I feel like Satan's like, and then I'll be like, "No, I like God. I want to be with God," and then I wake up, like, crippling dream, And I told my psychiatrist about this. He says it's more of a night terror than anything else.
Right. Like just a repeating night terror.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever experienced night terrors. I will say some of the most, I can't even remember them, but I guess would be the closest to night terrors I've experienced is when I've taken like melatonin or sometimes Benadryl, like the sleep aid kind of stuff. Especially melatonin, which you shouldn't really take melatonin as a way to go to sleep. It's more to like reset your sleep schedule, but it's what your brain produces naturally to go to sleep, so you can take it in pill form to like induce heavy sleep. But I've done that before and just had like insane, I can't remember, nightmares, and I'm like waking up in the middle of it, like half awake in bed, just like almost like screaming, just like what's going on?
And much like you, I started getting night terrors when I started taking psychiatric medication, so that, it comes from something.
Yeah, it's definitely from like a medication dosage or something of that nature.
I got another cool one. Halloween candy. Do you ever buy a lot of Halloween candy and you're constantly eating the Halloween candy and
you get sick? You get a little tummy ache?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes, yes.
I was actually planning the day after Halloween to go to the store and get some discounted Halloween candy because it'll all be discounted. Another trick you can do is after Christmas, if you like putting up Christmas lights in your house, like I do. I put Christmas lights up year round. Go to a CVS or something after Christmas and they'll have all their Christmas lights like 70% off, like discounted. Discounted.
Very smart idea. Very smart idea.
Very frugal. Very smart.
Very frugal. Very intelligent. Tyler's an intelligent guy.
I'm a big brain boy. I've been thinking a lot lately. I'm like they call my brain Wikipedia sometimes. My favorite words are thesaurus, encyclopedia.
Okay. So I showed my psychiatrist some of my videos, and in my videos I go on a rant like, I'm a genius. And he's like, you're not a genius. You're very smart, but you're not a genius.
He couldn't just give you that. He couldn't say that you're a genius.
Well, I guess he was trying to ground me, like that I was getting carried away.
Yeah. I just like the idea that you're showing him your video where you're just screaming you're a genius. He's like, now, Andrew, listen, you're not a genius. All right?
No, he said he's not a genius either. He's like, I'm not a genius either. Junior, yeah.
There is no geniuses. That's left to Stephen Hawking, who's dead now, I think. Isn't he dead? Yeah, he died. Rest in peace.
Okay, what else? I have the lab rat phenomenon. I feel like a lab rat with all the medications I'm on. I'm just reading my blog. I'm just going through my blog and reading stuff. East New York. East New York.
Oh my God, it's East New York. Ah!
Step out into the chaos and gunfire.
You step out of the train into the chaos and gunfire. It is East New York.
I'm like, Mom!
No, get me home!
Get me home, Mom!
What's West New York? What borough is that?
I don't know.
Shit. Maybe West New York's the safe haven. You got to get from east to west.
Maybe one day we can all go to East New York and take like a band picture, like a podcast picture of all of us in front of the East New York sign. You know,
we should do a podcast in East New York, like on the subway, and just ride the subway and have a bunch of mics going. That would be more entertaining. Go ahead. Sorry.
Johnny Cash in Folsom Prison. You know, we're doing a show from East New York.
Do the Beatles concert on the roof, but do a podcast on the roof.
Exactly.
What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Well, Bob Dylan at Jones Beach was awful. The songs didn't even sound
I said best, but worst is good too. But sorry. Go ahead. It was Bob Dylan at West where?
At Jones Beach. I went to in like 2007ish. I went to Jones Beach for a Bob Dylan concert, and like he barely sang. His songs didn't even sound the same. It was awful.
So it was a little bit like me on this podcast. I was doing a little essence of Bob Dylan on this podcast.
Even you on this podcast was a million times better than Bob Dylan in that concert. He was just like mumbling. He's like, "Blow in the wind." You know what I mean? Like he wasn't even
all along the watchtower. Damn, I've heard that about Bob Dylan, that he's gotten pretty not good in his old age. But then again, I've never really listened to Bob Dylan at all, so I wouldn't know.
People just like they're going to see Bob Dylan, not really hear the concert.
Yeah, for sure. So, is there any other topics or anything you want to jump into?
Can I give a shout out to some people?
Yeah, get shout out time here. I'll put a plug music. Go ahead. Oh, you can go ahead and shout them out.
Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to Elizabeth from Arizona, my band known as the Swell Boys, who is E-Chip and Electronic Ed.
Hell yeah. Shouts out to Electronic Ed. He's a good dude. Shouts out to the Swell Boys. And what was the first one again? I feel like the music was too loud. This is just a real mess. Go ahead.
Elizabeth from Arizona.
Yeah.
Augie and Electronic Ed I'm giving a shout out to.
Augie and Electronic Ed. Shouts out from the OYC Podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, shit.
They're the people I go out to eat wings with weekly, and so.
Wing Boys. The good old Wing Boys.
The Wing Boys, yes.
Sick, dude. Well, shit. You know. I wish I had some wings right now. Some wings to fly. Fly to a better mental state, you know?
Yeah, just keep going. Talking, doing podcasts is good for your mental health because it makes you laugh. It makes you smile. It just makes you feel good, you know?
Yeah, it gets it all out there. It is a good kind of dumping ground for just bullshit in your head. Podcast.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Say they never passed the sweatshop and labor laws. Do you think in sweatshops right now and not making podcasts, would we be working in sweatshops?
Sorry. So your question is, if they never passed the sweatshop, like the labor laws, would we still be working in sweatshops? And
making like a penny a day with no future, and then like the rich people will be like, you work for me, you're lazy, and you know, we have all this talent to make podcasts, but we can't do anything about it because we're making a penny a day in a sweatshop.
Or maybe we'd be sweatshopping podcasts. We'd just be sitting in a small sweaty basement, forced to podcast 24 hours a day for a nickel a day.
Might actually be a cool thing, though.
Yeah, dude, that might actually be chill. I'd be down for Go ahead.
It calls their iced hot chocolate frozen hot chocolate. Shouldn't it just be called frozen chocolate? It seems like.
I agree. That frozen hot chocolate does not make sense. That's fucked up, dude.
It does not.
That's fucking bullshit, and I'm pissed, and I'm upset about that.
Really upset about it too.
I wish that they would pick one.
Let's try Dunkin' Donuts.
They opened up a Dunkin' Donuts up the street from me. Still haven't checked it out, but I will not be checking out the frozen hot chocolate. Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
It's upset. I will go in there and actually put in a formal complaint. I wonder, couldn't you complain that it's not hot? You'd be like, it's in the name. It says hot chocolate. Why isn't this hot?
I think you just confused the employees there. You could complain, but the employees would be like, I don't know, man, you know?
Their heads just start fucking shaking like they're a robot and explode. They can't handle the... It's like, what is it? One of those questions, wasn't it in Blade Runner where he asks them a question that they can't answer and they like fucking shut down?
Exactly.
Yeah, you ask a Dunkin' Donuts employee what is a frozen hot chocolate, and they shut down. They can't handle it. Big
I can't
oversight.
handle it. I don't even work there.
Yeah, it's fucking giving me brain headache, brain freeze.
What do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to play music. That's a good one. I like to go see music shows. I actually went to a pretty good concert last week, or was it this week? It was on Sunday. I saw the OCs on Sunday, and they're like a high energy psych rock band. It was a very fun show at a smaller club. Very lively crowd. Got to do a lot of like kind of moshing, getting thrown back and forth. I crowd surfed at one point, which was great. And somebody recognized me there as On Your Computer. It was this kid and his older brother. Shouts out to those dudes. It's cool meeting you. Nice getting a picture with you and shit. Love you boys out there, the Richmond OYC fans. It happens, I feel like most times I go to a music show here, someone recognizes me somehow, and it's like I don't feel like I'm that big, but whenever I go to like a local venue, most times someone will, some teenager will be like, yo, you on your computer? And I'm like, yeah, man, whoa, dude, what the fuck?
How big is your channel really?
Say again?
How big is your channel really? How big is your channel really to get spotted in public like that? I
feel like I have like four videos that are like way more popular than the channel is. Like I have a few videos that have been around for a while that I think 2 of them are past like 1 million or so. So I think I have a few videos that are just kind of cultish with people, like cult following-y, but it's like I don't have like a large subscriber base compared to a lot of people, but I mean I guess it's decent enough. But I mean it doesn't happen super often that I get recognized in public. It's just usually at music shows for some reason.
I guess there's a crossover audience.
With music, the music I like and the shit. Yeah, I guess a lot of my fans have the same music taste. Shouts out to you boys.
Okay, so when you go into bathrooms at hospitals, for example, at train stations, do you like to use the urinal or do you like to use the toilet?
Oh, I'm a toilet guy all around. I have that pee shyness thing. I don't like peeing near people. I'd rather pee on my own. Pee on my own time, you know.
Exactly. Zipper. When you wear a jacket in the winter inside a stadium, do you leave the zipper zipped up or do you unzip the jacket? Zip your jacket because your jacket needs to be open while you're inside at some chocolate expo. I don't know why she was getting nasty about that, but
I keep the jacket closed.
Wow, you're like me. We both keep our jackets closed.
Yeah, I'm a closed jacket kind of guy.
That's the way to be. But some people like their jacket open, like that crazy lady.
It's probably a Dunkin' Donuts employee. Oh, what a callback.
She probably likes frozen hot chocolates, you know?
Yeah, she drank one frozen hot chocolate, she unzipped her jacket and went crazy. Well, I guess we can wrap it up.
Sure.
Thanks for taking the time to be on, Andrew. Sorry.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me on the show too, buddy.
Here I'm gonna play us out. Here's the ending song.
Let's get the hell out. Let's get the hell out. Let's get the hell out of here.
Happy birthday to you.